right, here we are on day 5 of the 12 Days of Christmas projects. This one is a trivet, Snowflake Trivet. You can see I have it made from some laminated wood that I found in my pile. It looks like we've got some cherry, we've got some maple, we've got some walnut. And it's about 7 by 7. It's got a really nice snowflake ground into it, routed into it. Great little gift if you're going over to somebody's house for Christmas or something. Let's get to making it. Hey, if you find yourself enjoying this kind of content and want to see more, why don't you mash down on that subscribe button? That helps us immeasurably. And then maybe punch the like button and give us a thumbs up and maybe comment and stuff. That helps us bring you more content like this. So please do that, it helps a lot. And now, due in part to the overly litigious society in which we reside, listen to my robot.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
All right, so here's how you will receive the file. And this file is deceptively simple. You have to be a little careful on some of this stuff. Again, it's at 00. This one is 7 by 7. And it's my usual 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay, and I normally put it at 0 just for ease of use. All right, so there's more going on here than you think there is. I did not make these snowflake cutout as pockets. I made them as lines for, ease of use and for speed of machining. What that means is, if you use a different size bit than I'm using, it will look slightly different. And let's get into that. I'll kind of show you what that looks like right now. So these are what I call snowflake. Okay, there you can see them. And I use a 6mm bit. You don't have a 6mm bit, a 1/4 inch bit is very close. It's, I think, 14 thousandths different. Okay, and I'm going right on the line. Okay, and again, for longevity of my router bits, I don't want to snap them off. I put a little ramp on them. Okay, and so I call this snowflake, and we'll calculate that. All right, so that's what that looks like. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Okay. And now, as I showed you at the beginning, I want to put a chamfer on here. A chamfer across the top of all of these. And I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so here's how I do that. I use a 90-degree bit, so it'll be a 45-degree chamfer, one on either side. And I follow the same tool path. Okay? The trick is the cut depth here. I had to do some experimenting. I'm sure you can figure it out, using math, but I'm not that smart, so I just did it. I probably cut a couple of samples and some scrap, and I know that 0.2 deep will give me a decent chamfer on both sides because I'm going right down the middle. It's also very fast, so we want to make sure we're going on the line, and we don't have to put ramps on this one, but we'll call this one chamfer. Okay, now let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so it cuts that, and then it cuts the chamfer. If we look in really close, see, it gives it a nice chamfer around here. And I did all the work for you with this geometry here. You don't want to cut through to the middle because then these things are kind of hanging out and they're not very sturdy. So that's all, done for you. And I think it looks really nice. Okay, so I previewed all the tool paths, so it also put in, the outside contour, which I'll show you now. Okay, so we go to outer profile, and that's basically this square here. 750 deep, the same 6mm end mill. If you wanted to save yourself some time, again, depending on how you're holding this, you could maybe put a chamfer around here on the machine. I always just round that over by hand when I'm done. I find it to be a lot faster. Again, a little ramp on here, and we'll calculate that. And we've already seen this, but I'll show it to you again. We'll double click this out here to get rid of it, and there's the snowflake. Okay, of course ours is laminated, so I can't put that in my material, but you understand what it's going to look like. Okay, so however you want to do them is fine. I would not recommend doing the chamfer first, because if you don't already have the paths in there, if you don't already have the slots cut in there, that's kind of a big cut. You could do it if you went in and manually changed it to maybe 2 tool paths, or went a little slower or whatever. But me personally, I'm going to cut that chamfer after I cut the snowflake. Okay. So let's go into the shop and cut this thing out. All right, here I am at my scrap wood pile. Looks like I got some bloodwood, some walnut, some maple, some cherry. That looks good. We'll make something out of that. We'll make the trivet out of that. All right, so I got this guy machined, and as you can see, when I held her down, I made sure that the clamps were well outside of that machining window, so I didn't run into any problem there. You can also see on here that there's some little nicks and some little cuts and stuff where, because I have an upcut bit, it nicked it a little bit. It doesn't look as good as it should. That should all be taken care of when I put the 90-degree bit in there to chamfer all those edges. So let's do that and see what it looks like after that. Here's the part of the video you guys have been waiting for, the part where I give you the free coupon code. Just go to the link in the description and it'll take you to the file page and check out like normal, and when it tries to charge you, just put in that coupon code and it'll be free. The only thing that I ask in return is that you subscribe to the channel. Subscription's free also. Doesn't cost you anything. Maybe, a 2 seconds to click the button wherever it is. Alright, let's get back to the video. Alright, as you can see here, that chamfer tool took off all of those nicks and cuts, so it looks so much better. What we'll do now is we'll sand it a little bit with the orbital sander, and we'll put a couple coats of finish on there. With this one, I think I'm going to use oil, tongue oil. All right, so I got her sanded down pretty good. I got 1 coat of oil on there. I'm gonna put another coat of oil on there. I might do that after I do this though. This is a little trick that I came up with. Someone else probably came up with it, but I don't remember that. And that is to use these. These are furniture tacks. They have a domed head on them and a little nail on them. And I have pre-drilled some holes in here, and I'm going to use a plastic hammer to knock 3 of these guys in. I've spaced these holes accordingly. And some of you asking why 3? 3, you can never get like every bar stool I've ever sat on it with 4 legs where one of them's tippy. If you use 3, it'll always be stable. Okay, so let's put this guy in here. Okay, what does that do? I call these, for lack of a better word, standoffs. When you put a hot pan on here, it won't rest directly on the wood. it will rest on these standoffs. I'll put a link for these guys, and you can get them in silver and gold and brass, and I think these are antique bronze, I think. And the pan won't actually touch the wood, and it'll allow air to circulate under there, keep these things cool. It does help them last longer. I have used them before, and I do like them in certain situations, but that is a good tip. Anyhow, this guy I'm going to put one more coat on, and then we'll call him done. And there you have it, the Snowflake Trivet. What would I do differently? What would I do? Whatever. You know what? I don't know that I'd do much differently. I would maybe make it a little bigger so that I could use that Roman OG bit on the outside. I think that looks really good on a trivet. But otherwise, fantastic. I do like the standoffs here. My advice to you is if you're going to put them in for the size of pan that you think you're going to use on there. If you put them out too far for stability and you're using a small pan, they don't help. You put them in too close and you're using a big pan, you might run into some stability issues there. In any case, I do like the way it looks with the laminate or with the glue up. I think that's worth it, and that chamfer really sets it off. You can do one without a chamfer, but I highly recommend if you're going to do it with the chamfer. Please like and subscribe so I can bring you more of this stuff. It helps the channel immeasurably. Let's move on to the next project for Christmas, whatever that is.